his jab right there that really knocked Jake back. I think that's his most effective punch of the round. But then we see, the right hand grazes Mike Tyson by Jake Paul. That would have been a good shot had it been on the chin. So.
On November 15th, the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight left many questioning what they had witnessed. Tyson, the boxing legend, known for knocking out a bear and shattering opponents with his punches, has now exposed
Big Paul landed a beautiful jab with right hand first, right there, and knocked Mike off balance 2 times. And Mike was highly off balance right there. I don't like how his legs look. Yeah, something wrong with the mouth gear.
That affects his action.
Bizarre details behind the fight that go beyond a simple publicity stunt. It wasn't just another staged moment. Something strange was happening behind the scenes. During the fight, Tyson's punches, which are typically known for their power, barely landed. The ferocity and impact that have made him a feared boxer throughout his career seemed to be mysteriously absent. It raises the question, how could a YouTuber with almost no boxing experience endure against one of the greatest boxers in history? Tyson himself has now revealed some shocking truths that explain the situation, and it's wilder than anything.
They're definitely uninformed. Yeah, because here's the thing. He is 57 years old. He will be 58 when they fight. He has had a long fighting career. He has been knocked out by massive men like Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. You know, he's had a lot of blows.
Mike Tyson was right, and I was wrong. You know, you guys know the whole story about Shark Week, and you know, if you don't. I begged him not to do the Roy Jones fight. You're too old. I love you. I don't want to see you take any more punishment. So I set him up on Shark Week. He got paid good money. And he's like, you fucking... So he almost flipped out the last day and was ready to kill everybody on the boat because he had to jump in with all these sharks again in the middle of Florida. And he's like, this fucking asshole says that, you know, he cares about me and everything else. I've been fighting since I was 12. And he throws me in the ocean with a bunch of sharks. He was right about that, too. But he basically said, I told him, Mike, you're basically 60 years old. And he's like, you honestly think this kid's going to do anything?
Jake Paul could joke about. Before dismissing the fight as just another money-making scheme, prepare for some jaw-dropping revelations. This fight was more than just a show. It's full of strange details that might change everything you thought you knew about the event. For anyone who believed Jake Paul was rising through the boxing ranks, the tradition
fight was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually leaked on X a few days ago. Now this script has went viral. Let's see how accurate it was. The opening bell rings, Tyson is showing flashes of his old form, which actually happened. As soon as the bell went, Mike Tyson came out with that head movement pushing forward. Immediately he stalks forward with his signature bob and weave style. Now let me just stop right there. Even before I sing this script, that's exactly what was going to happen. Like, what else would happen? Would Mike...
way, training hard, fighting harder, and earning respect in the ring, Mike Tyson's recent expose is a harsh wake-up call. According to Tyson, boxing isn't about the sport anymore. When it comes to Jake Paul, it's about image, marketing, and fat paychecks, all wrapped up in a carefully orchestrated spectacle. The fight itself was scripted. Jake Paul doesn't just train for his bouts, his team choreographs the entire experience months in advance.
Many are upset over the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, with some people claiming that it was rigged because many people bet a lot of money and they lost a lot of money. Allegedly, there's this script that got leaked showing how the fight was supposed to go down between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. This was actually covered by World Star Hip Hop. So let's read this alleged script and see how the fight was supposed to go down. So round one was supposed to go like this. The opening bell rings and Tyson, showing flashes of his old form, immediately stalks forward with his signature bob and...
That heated feud you saw at the press conference? Scripted. Social media arguments that escalated? planned down to the last tweet. Tyson revealed that every moment leading up to a Jake Paul fight is staged for maximum attention. This isn't about rivalries or pride, it's about building Jake's persona. Win or lose, the goal remains the same. Keep Jake
Paul land a beautiful jab with right hand first, right there, and knock Mike off balance 2 times. And Mike was highly off balance right there. I don't like how his legs look. Yeah, something wrong with the mouth gear.
That affects his oxygen.
Jake Paul at the center of every conversation. By the time the fight rolls around, millions of fans are already glued to their screens, fully invested in the drama. Tyson explained that the fight itself is almost secondary to the hype machine behind it. The headlines, hashtags, and viral moments are what really matter. It's boxing reimagined as a reality show, with Jake as both the protagonist and the villain. He's playing a character, not an athlete. In the third round of his fight, Jake Paul undergoes a noticeable transformation. He goes from hesitant swings to landing punches with theatrical precision, but is it raw skill or just another part of the act? Did you notice Tyson's legendary power was missing during the Jake Paul fight? That sudden shift might have been another carefully timed act to keep the crowd invested, making Jake look like he was rising to the occasion. Whether it's adrenaline or clever choreography, one thing's clear: Jake knows how to create moments that keep fans talking and buying tickets for the next match. What makes this even more ridiculous is that Jake Paul's so-called boxing career has little to do with actual skill. Tyson was brutally honest about it.
Cautiously, Tyson lands a few jabs, but Paul's youth shows in his superior ability. Paul connects with a quick 1-2 combination before retreating. Tyson's timing appears slightly off, his punches a fraction slower than his prime. Round 2. Tyson comes alive, cutting off the ring more effectively. He lands a thunderous left hook to Paul's body that draws a collective gasp from the crowd. Paul weathers the storm, using his reach advantage to pepper Tyson with...
Jake isn't trying to become a legendary fighter. Instead, he's a marketing genius who's figured out how to sell the illusion of being a real boxer. His fights are designed to feel like major events, but let's not forget the caliber of his opponents. Retired athletes, aging fighters, and names that draw headlines but pose little threat in the ring. Tyson didn't mince words. Jake Paul's rise is built on spectacle, not substance. And about Jake's training?
Expected it to be.
What is your assessment of Jake Paul, the boxer?
A very good fighter.
Do you think he deserves respect from the public?
Absolutely. Hey, that was a good slap. I like that.
Those dramatic clips of him sweating it out in the gym, hitting bags like his life depends on it, and sprinting like he's preparing for the Olympics? Tyson has news for you. It's all for show. According to Tyson, Jake's workouts are more about optics than actual preparation. They're designed to generate viral content, not boxing skills. Every punch, every grunt, every bead of sweat is carefully staged for maximum impact on Instagram and YouTube. It's not about becoming a better fighter, it's about looking like one. And honestly, who needs to train like a pro when you've got a contract that guarantees millions no matter what happens?
It wasn't a good one.
Wasn't a good one. Yeah. Overall, how'd you just see how Jake fought, how Mike fought?
Well, you know, you can tell something was wrong with the Tyson leg.
Yeah, the knee.
So he couldn't, his balance was off.
Oh, that's crazy. You noticed that. I just talked to his trainer and he told me that exact thing.
Yeah.
His balance was off.
His balance was off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. You know, overall, like, how do you see Jake growing from this, and who do you want to see him fight against now?
Well, you know, I'm like...
In the ring, Tyson exposed one of the most absurd secrets behind Jake Paul's fights. His paychecks are non-negotiable by general fit, whether Jake wins by knockout, loses spectacularly, or gets sent flying into the ropes. He walks away with a fortune. This isn't how traditional boxing works, where fighters earn based on ticket sales, pay-per-view revenue, and their actual performance. Jake, however, has a golden parachute that ensures he gets paid handsomely, regardless of the outcome. Tyson was blunt. There's no real risk.
Sucked gorilla balls. I hated it. A roided up 27-year-old fighting a 58-year-old senior citizen should have been illegal in the first place. I was already expecting to be disappointed, but was still blown out of the water with how bad it really was. I called it back in March, saying that this fight would suck, and that the Paul sisters were very good at generating hype only to deliver a letdown, and both those things happened. But still, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson was a giant economic success. The Netflix servers were overloaded with how many people were trying to watch it. So money grab fights and mediocrity are now literally being celebrated. And it's so sad to see how far the business of boxing is really
for Jake. Why go all out in the ring when your paycheck is already locked in? But it doesn't stop there. Tyson also revealed how Jake Paul's team manipulates fight conditions to give him every possible advantage. One of their favorite tricks? Weight clauses. Jake's team negotiates strict conditions that work entirely in his favor. You need to cut weight quickly to outpace your opponent? No problem. Want to bulk up at the last minute to overpower them? That's
pleasure you can take from beating an old Mike Tyson.
I believe he actually won the first 2 rounds. Jake Paul probably won the rest of them. Mike Tyson's legs were gone, man. They were gone. And I believe Ryan, I got to give Ryan credit on this one, man. Because Ryan from Sports Wars, he did say that there would be like a no-knock.
All part of the game. It's all about the optics, not the actual fight. These behind-the-scenes moves literally tip the scales in Jake's favor. To the casual fan, it may seem like a fair fight, but in reality, Jake's team ensures he's stepping into the ring with every possible edge. Then there's the media manipulation. According to Tyson, Jake Paul's team are masters at controlling the narrative. Every headline, every leaked video, every sound.
That wasn't a good one.
It wasn't a good one. Yeah. Overall, how'd you just see how Jake fought, how Mike fought?
Well, you know, you can tell something was wrong with the Tyson leg, so he couldn't. His balance was off.
Oh, that's crazy. You noticed that. I just talked to his trainer and he told me that exact thing.
Yeah.
His balance was off.
The balance was off.
Yeah.
Bite is part of a larger strategy to sell Jake as a legitimate contender. They know exactly how to frame his story, so even casual viewers start to believe the hype. Tyson made it clear the line between athlete and entertainer has never been thinner. Jake isn't just fighting for wins, he's fighting for clicks and attention. What's even more infuriating, though, is how Jake's contracts are structured to prioritize his image above all else. Tyson revealed,
I'm going to sit around and wait for the result of that Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight. That was the most pointless, stupid fight in the history of boxing. That was absolutely pathetic. Netflix couldn't even get your streaming situation figured out. What was that? Everybody's stream was lagging. You couldn't even figure that situation out. And then your first big launch of this like new sports streaming thing that you want to do is this Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight where Mike Tyson is clearly, I love Mike, love him. My dad is a massive, massive Mike Tyson fan. He was texting me saying how depressing it was for him to watch this. Jake Paul was selling it, I'm gonna kill Mike Tyson, I'm gonna fuck him up. And what happened? He showed mercy to Mike Tyson in the ring because Mike Tyson just didn't have it anymore. He had no legs under him. If you don't want to hurt the guy, why are you fighting him? Just to con us? To con people into buying more Netflix subscriptions? This fight...
There are clauses in place to ensure Jake always comes out looking good, even if he gets knocked out cold. The narrative will always be spun in his favor. This isn't about building a legacy in the ring, it's about building a brand that can survive any outcome. Tyson pointed out that Jake's real focus isn't on boxing, it's on staying relevant, no matter what happens in the ring. Jake Paul is undeniably a master.
Point did you start to take your foot off the gas just a little bit because you noticed he was tiring out?
Yeah, definitely a bit. You know, I wanted to give the
master at staying relevant, but let's not forget the driving force behind it all: money. Tyson broke down how Jake's fights are less about competition and more about cash. From pay-per-view deals to sponsorships, Jake's fights are financial gold mines. Traditional boxers fight for titles, glory, and respect. Jake fights for dollar signs. Tyson didn't hold back, calling out how this approach is turning the sport into a cash grab. It's no longer about...
They went in, but yo, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. What do we got? Mike Tyson is 58 years old. Jake Paul is 27. 31-year difference. Most of us wanted to see Mike Tyson win. The nostalgia, we rock with Mike. A lot of us support Mike. Jake Paul, you know, the famous YouTuber that stepped into boxing. And we're not going to go that far. We're not going to kill him. So this was never really touted to be no real shit. A 31-year-old difference. But the fact that we support
who's the better fighter. It's about who can sell the most tickets. Tyson's concerns, however, extend beyond just Jake Paul. He warned about the larger impact of influencer-driven boxing on the sport as a whole. Real boxers dedicate their lives to the craft, training for years to earn their place in the ring. But now they're being overshadowed by social media stars who can barely throw a proper punch. Tyson fears this trend...
First 30, 45 seconds, that's it. It was a wrap. After that, he really had Jake Paul on his bike for a second. Let's be real. Jake Paul was on his bike for about the first minute of the first round. But after that, where was Mike? Nowhere to really be found. We just watched him bite his fucking glove the whole time. Roy Jones in there commentating, talking about his mouthpiece. No, that's just Mike being Mike, biting his...
...is eroding the integrity of boxing, turning it into a spectacle that values fame over talent. And really, that's the crux of the issue. Jake Paul's rise isn't just about him. It's about what his success says about the state of boxing.
Right hand to the body after the jab, lay the jab there and threw a good right to the body. Push Mike off balance again because Mike wasn't ready for it. You don't like to see those kind of punches land because that tells you that his reflexes are off and they used to be.
To us tonight, can find out sometime. But in terms of Jake Paul, you're right, Roy. He's turning into a boxer.
Yep. Oh, good job.
The sport has always been a test of discipline, skill, and heart, but with Jake Paul, it's become a stage for influencers to cash in on their fame. Tyson's revelations shine a harsh light on this new reality. Boxing isn't about the love of the game anymore. It's about who can generate the most buzz.
He's still chasing Jake around the ring like that.
Again, these are 2-minute rounds. Tyson requested the 2-minute rounds, wanting to see more action. He just landed the overhand right, testing the beard of Paul.
Here we see Mike early, land this jab right there that really knocked Jake back. I think that's his most effective punch of the round. But then we see, the right hand grazes Mike Tyson by Jake Paul. That would have been a good shot had it been on the chin. So Mike barely escaped that one.
Let's go.
I don't like Mike's legs at 58 though.
The first round he's won in more than 2 decades.
Yeah, I don't like Mike's legs.
Mike Tyson has pulled back the curtain on Jake Paul's boxing career, revealing it for what it really is. A carefully crafted spectacle designed to entertain, provoke, and, most importantly, make money. From pre-fight drama to guaranteed paychecks, weight manipulations to media puppeteering, every aspect of Jake's rise is orchestrated to perfection. It's not about winning titles, it's about staying in the spotlight. The saddest part? It's working. Jake Paul has built an empire on the back of a sport that he's effectively turned into a circus. Love him or hate him, there's no denying Jake's success, but as Tyson pointed out, the cost might be the soul of boxing itself. For now, Jake Paul is laughing all the way to the bank, while the rest of us are left wondering what this means for the future of the sport. Will fans eventually tire of the spectacle, or is this the new normal? One thing's for sure, as long as there are cameras rolling and checks to cash, Jake Paul isn't going anywhere. Tyson's revelations are too outrageous to ignore. If you're tired of staged drama and scripted fights masquerading as real sports, it's time to rethink what you're watching. Share this article, spark a conversation, and let's shine a light on boxing's real talent before the sport loses itself to influencer antics. What do you think? Mastermind or menace? Leave your thoughts below, and let's keep this debate alive.